All the rolling go. Where am I to go? Meet Johnny, where am I to go? For I'm a young and a sailor lad, and where am I to go?
Hello, and welcome to Where Am I to Go podcast. Today we are in Rigby, Idaho, and I just happened to show up at a store that I had a little bit of interest in. I had no idea how much interest I had in it, but it is a harp store. I know that we've all seen harps, angels floating around with harps and halos and some of that kind of stuff. I had no idea. Well, I really still have no idea what all is going on with harps. But today I am here with Jill Gosling. Weaver. Oh, sorry. I've known her since she was a little kid and the name was Gosling. She changed it somewhere along the way. Anyway, we're here with Jill, and she is the owner of the Harp Shop here in Rigby. And she is going to talk to us a little bit about harps and educate me, because this is an area that I really don't have a lot of knowledge in, and I'm hoping someday to go to heaven, and maybe I'll have to figure out how this whole harp thing. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I'll be playing a bass guitar in hell.
Hey, who knows? They might have them in heaven too.
Oh, they could. You just don't see angels walking around with bass guitars, so. And the regular lead guitar, there's no way I'd figure that out. It's got too many strings. So, anyway, as you walk through the front door, this place is really amazing. It's not a huge store, but it has a lot of items in it. I would not have thought that there were this many harps on Earth, to be honest with you. But here we are, and you walk through the door, you see a really nice display. She's got a music stand with a harp with all kinds of little pedals on it. It looks like she could shift gears and run on down the road with it or something. She's got another little area that has some Irish harps. She's got music books. She's got all kinds of things. But let's go ahead and get started, Jill. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your harp background and why you have a harp shop?
Yeah, it's kind of a fun story. I started playing harp when I was 10. We got a musical instrument every year for Christmas, and one year it happened to be a harp. And as I'm told, I was the one who kind of caught interest in it, and the rest is history. So I've been playing for a little over 20 years now.
Is that all?
Feels like longer sometimes, but yeah.
Did you learn a lot of other instruments along the way, or?
A little bit here and there. I also learned violin and piano, a little bit of organ, and dabbled in a couple of other instruments, but harp's kind of become the main one for me.
Now I see an accordion up here on the top. Did you learn how to play polkas on that?
Oh, not as well as I hoped. You know, that's still on the bucket list.
That's still on the bucket list.
Yes.
In between plucking strings.
Yeah, in between plucking strings.
Okay. Now, typically, how many strings does a harp have?
Well, that's a really fun question because it varies. So unlike, most, guitars or violin or, where you kind of have a standard set of strings, harps are a little more varied in that you can have as little as like 6 to 12 strings or up to 47 strings. So the really big, concert pedal harps that you see with orchestras and that you see at weddings and stuff like that, those are typically the really big ones that have 47 strings, and so that's about as big as they get. But then I would say the standard sizes as far as small ones go, 26 strings is pretty standard, 34 and then 47 are kind of the most typical.
and the 6-string ones are the ones that you pick up for the little grandkids at the Christian bookstore?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Along with the halo?
Exactly. Where it's going to be a little bit harder to play a bunch of music on it. But so we normally suggest if someone wants to get into it to learn the instrument that they start with at least 26 strings, because we normally find if they start with less, they run out of strings really fast.
Yeah, but they've only got 10 fingers.
That's true. And to, add even more complexity to that statement, we only play with 8 of them.
Oh, really?
We never play with our pinkies.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you ever play with your toes just to get the extra?
Well, I mean, technically we do the pedals with our toes. So.
Oh, okay. But not all of them have pedals.
No, so that's the cool thing.
And tell me about these pedals. Okay, we're looking at a harp that's probably 5 foot tall, about 2.5 foot wide. It looks like a harp as far as the triangular shape with the little bow in the top. And then there's all these little pedals around the outside that are about 8 inches long.
How many?
How many pedals?
Oh, 7.
7 pedals. Is that the most pedals that they have?
Yes, so they'll always have, if they have pedals, they'll have 7 pedals, and each pedal controls one of the letters of the musical alphabet. So you have your A pedal, your B pedal, your C pedal, and when you adjust that pedal, it affects all of those notes. So if you do the C pedal, it's going to be all of the C's on your harp. So you have kind of 3 positions, a natural, sharp, and flat position for each pedal, and you get to change all of the tones at once.
So unlike a piano, you've got to have 4 feet to work them.
Yeah. Basically, you kind of gotta dance sometimes. On some songs, you're gonna be moving your pedals constantly, and it's gonna look like a tap dance down there.
Do a lot of harpists, are they deformed, or are they just normal people that are able to figure out how to be a lot more ambidextrous than most?
Well, I think it's the latter, but it'd be really useful if we had a couple extra legs or arms, fingers. I'm sure. Okay.
This is just so complex that it's amazing to me.
It's pretty cool. The other style of harp that we actually have a lot more of them in the shop are the lever harps. So those are a lot of the smaller ones. And the main difference is when they don't have they're a little bit smaller. But also, instead of having pedals at the bottoms, we use a series of levers at the top. So I'll walk you over there.
Okay.
So whereas the pedal harp has the gears and it affects all of them, we can only change 1 string at a time on lever harps. And instead of having 3 tones per string, sharp, flat, and natural, with lever harps we either have flat and natural or natural and sharp as our options for the strings. So we can change 1 string at a time versus all of them.
Okay. And how long does it take you to tune a harp? Or do they stay in tune fairly well? I know, like a piano, if you move it, you're supposed to retune it, and you got to call the piano tuner, and he comes out and spends 2.5 hours crawling around inside your piano.
Oh yeah.
So when you move the harp to go to a concert, does it take you 2.5 hours to?
Luckily, it's a lot faster to tune than a piano, but we have to tune a lot more frequently than a piano. So if you're a harpist, you're going to be a tuner as well. So I would say most harps, when they're brand new, you're going to be tuning nonstop for a week. But after that, I would say on average, after a string's settled in and the harp settled in, you're going to be tuning it about once a week, unless you have a string break, and then that 1 string's going to go out for about a week.
Okay, so as a teacher, is that the first thing you have to teach your students is how to tune?
Yep.
So they don't even get to pluck strings until they figure out how to tune the doggone thing.
Basically. And that's normally why I recommend that people rent before they buy, because then they get a harp that's already kind of settled in and is going to hold a tune a little better, so they don't have to tune as often.
And you rent these?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
okay,
we rent,
just out of curiosity, what do they rent for?
It depends on the size. I'd say typically between depending on the harp as well, between 40 to 70 to 80 for most lever harps, and typically 100 to 150 for pedal harps.
A month.
Mm-hmm. Because they're pricey, unfortunately.
Oh yes. What's an average harp cost? I mean, just a basic beginner harp. Let's say if you were going to start out and you wanted 27 strings, you didn't need any foot pedals.
So typically, normally with those size harps, that'd be one of those over there. They're really fun. They're called harpsicles.
They're about 3 foot tall.
Yeah, and they have about 26 strings. And if you get one without levers, it's going to be about $450.
Oh, that's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be.
Normally, we recommend people get them with full levers, and that's going to be typically about $1,300. So.
And what's it take the typical student to learn how to play?
So it varies. But I
Well,
would
I'm
say,
sure. If you were teaching me, it'd be the rest of my life. But
it's a lifelong pursuit, even for me. But I would say I normally tell most people who want to start to give themselves at least 3 months to get over like the big learning curve. And I find most people around that 3-month mark, they're starting to have the like techniques start to settle in. They're getting better at reading music. They're connecting the notes on the page to like the strings on the harp, and like they're not having to think about every single part of it. So I normally tell people, give yourself 3 months and it'll be fun. You'll get to the fun
so after
stage.
3 months, you can play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star instead of what the heck is this song I'm playing?
No, I think I'd say most people in their first lesson were able to at least play melodies that sound like it. I would say, yeah, typically it's pretty fun. In fact, should we get you playing something?
You're really pushing it there. I'm one that couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. And as far as playing a musical instrument, beating on a bucket drum isn't even within my skill limit.
Well, you never know what you can try.
Well, I guess I can try.
Okay, what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a little duet together.
Oh, we're gonna do a duet.
Okay, let's do this. So we're gonna have you. I'm gonna make sure I have it lever set right. We tune the
My
harps
part's
differently.
just to pluck one string, right?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay, let's do that one, and then I'm gonna have you occasionally play this one. Okay.
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 I did good. I'm a master at it. I can go to heaven now.
Yes, that was awesome.
Hey, we got you on there.
Yeah. This is fun. This is a lot of fun.
It is a pretty fun instrument. We have such a blast. It's been great. It's been fun since we opened the shop because there's not a lot of harp stores, and especially if there's
How many harp stores are there in the U.S.? 3?
I think there's more than that. Amazingly, we have because there's one in Salt Lake, one harp store, and then there's another music store that sells a couple of harps. You have I think 1 or 2 in California. You have one in Oregon. You've got a harp maker in Seattle, Washington. And then you have a store in Houston, one in Virginia, and one in New Jersey, I believe. So
Okay.
there's a handful of harp stores. I'd say across the US you probably have less than 20.
Wow.
We're pretty spread out. So as far as the people here are, before we opened, your closest option was 4 hours away, basically.
Now, I've noticed that most of these harps have colored strings. I'm kind of surprised by that because I would have thought that all the strings would have been the same color.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
It helps us keep track of them. So whether you're a brand new beginner or really advanced, you're always going to have the colored strings. So your reds are C's, and then your blues are F's, and then everything between is the letters in between. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and so on and so forth up.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, if you take a closer look next time you see your harp, most likely they'll all have colors.
Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Now, what's funny is that Paraguayan harp up there in South America, when they kind of were watching what the Western harps were doing, so the lever and pedal harps, they started also color coding their strings, and they mixed up which color was the C and which one was the F. So when they first started doing that, they actually switched it. So where the C's were blue and the F's were red. And it took them about a decade or so to figure out that they swapped the colors. So it's really interesting nowadays because about half the time when you get a South American harp, it will be color coded like Western or American, European harps. And then half the time the colors will be swapped.
But that only makes sense because they're south of the equator. Everything's different
that's
south
true.
of the equator.
That is so true.
So water swirls the wrong way and everything else down there. So it just makes sense that they would have the strings in a different position. Plus, it makes it more fun when they come up here to do a concert and everything's off one note.
Yeah, it's quite trippy to play. When I play it, it takes me about 10 minutes to swap over to be like, wait.
Now let's talk about this particular harp.
Yes.
It's a Paraguay, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
It's a Paraguay harp. This one here, most harps that you see are standing up with the triangle, narrow part at the top with the bow. But this Paraguay harp, it lays down with the heavy back beam. I don't know what you'd call that heavy back beam. You don't need to take it down.
Oh, it's really lightweight.
Oh, okay.
Because they're also only about 6 to 8 pounds.
Okay. But you play it laying down.
No. Nope.
Oh, you play it sitting up?
Yep.
Oh, I thought that you said earlier that they played
we were
it laying.
joking.
Oh, okay.
So typically they're going to play it up like this, and they actually normally will play with their fingernails.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So they'll grow out their fingernails, and it creates a more wiry sound and makes it a little bit louder. So this is really out of tune. It's been a while since I brought it down, but like if you listen, it kind of has a little bit more of a guitar-like sound.
Right.
So to kind of let it project, and then of course when they're playing with their nails, it kind of makes it even more
Naily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And it's got some really ornate woodwork, and it's got 2 big holes in the bottom so that the sound can come out the bottom. That's the reason I thought it was for projecting.
Yeah. So when they'll play it set up on a box like this, so that then because they're typically going to be a little bit higher on a stage or something, and then up on the box, it allows it to kind of flow out front. But yeah, it's kind of cool. And then instead of using a tuning key like what we use on our harps, they actually have guitar tuners for all of their strings. So it's a little bit faster.
Huh.
I would say that's one thing that I really appreciate about the Paraguayan harps is the fact that you don't have to keep track of a tuning key.
Right. Well, that is really cool.
It's pretty fun. It's been a cool instrument to have in the shop. And just fun.
And
to
just
be
a
able to
talking
compare.
piece.
Yeah, because it's really cool. It's a fun education thing as a teacher too, because as we play music from South America and stuff, it's fun to kind of show, okay, this is the sound we're after, this is what we're going for, and be able to kind of compare the differences and similarities so that they can really enjoy the complexity and differences and similarities between instruments.
And you said that they played this in mariachi bands and stuff.
Yeah, typically they're with mariachi bands. It is such a fascinating thing to see.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I don't have it out right now. I need to go grab my electric harp. I have an electric harp, actually.
An electric harp.
An electric harp. Yep.
Made by Fender?
No, they recently get into it. It's a small company called Harp and they're a fun maker. We call it my IKEA harp because it literally looks like it's made from an IKEA kit. I will go grab it. I'll be right back.
Okay. She's got all kinds of different things in here. She's got cookie cutters that are shaped like harps. She's got little dice that have different notes and different things that that they can play, that the teachers can buy so that they can roll the dice and have the students play different things. She's got pencils with harps on them, little notes that you can stick. It looks like magnetic on your refrigerator. Then she's got a whole bunch of different books, Beauty and the Beast, harp exercises. That looks like fun, doing yoga to harp music. Maybe that's not what that means, that harp exercises.
Although I actually had a lady last year buy a harp for her yoga studio.
Oh, really?
And so they actually do sessions while she plays the harp.
Well, that's cool.
He's also a yoga teacher.
Oh, that's so cool.
No. I just do yoga sometimes. But she's got lots of cool books here.
Yeah.
She doesn't have harps by AC/DC or any of those, but she's probably going to get those at some point in time because they're just so popular.
Yeah,
especially with the electric harp.
I know, it's pretty fun. So it doesn't have a sound box, so it's really hard to hear. But you can plug it in, and suddenly it projects really well.
Let's plug it. Can you plug it in?
Let's see if I got this cords out.
You've got an amp.
Yes, got an amp.
Wow.
Let's see if I have the right cord.
This tiny one is called a harpsicle.
A harpsicle. kind of like a popsicle.
Yeah.
And it is pink.
They come in
So-
all different colors.
All different colors. That's amazing. This is just such an interesting world that I had absolutely no clue about.
She also has greeting. She also
Oh.
has greeting cards that have harps on them and music notes, and she has jewelry that has harps on it.
Oh,
that
really?
People can buy earrings and keychains and necklaces. These necklaces, they have pearls on them, but those are actual harp strings holding
really?
the pearls on, which is fun. And then these are little earrings that have harps on them.
Harps?
Yeah, kind of fun. This is a double-stringed harp right here. See, there's 2 sets of strings. Jill can tell you about that.
So you need another 2 hands.
Yes,
Holy smokes, that thing pumps out some noise.
that's the electric harp.
Wow.
That's cool. That's the one I want right there.
Yeah, so it goes from,
I want the neighbors to hear it.
so that's without the amp because there's no sound box, but with that pickup,
That's cool.
it just
That
goes
is
way low.
unbelievable.
It's a pretty fun little instrument. Really puts out.
That would really project like at a Christmas concert or something.
Oh yeah, it's been super fun. We've done some cool events where we've a couple of years ago in our summer concert, I did a couple of fun things, and yeah, it's been a cool instrument to experiment. I haven't done a lot with electric instruments, but yeah, wanting to get more into that on another bucket list item.
Right. Well, it has a really neat sound.
It does. It's been so fascinating to, see how big it goes and how it still sounds like a harp.
Right.
But, yeah.
And it's not that big to have to take to an event.
No, it's much smaller. If it's, just in a pretty small backpack. And yeah, it's been great.
And then tell us about your Irish harps.
Yes, we also have a lot of Celtic little harps. So a lot of the lever harps. Are based on Celtic harp designs. We kind of, as far as like harp history goes, Western harps kind of come from 2 places. We have the Celtic harp that's from like Ireland and Scotland. So that would be similar to that little harp right there. And then we had the pedal harp that came from France. And basically over time, the Celtic harps got a little bit bigger and developed levers, and then the pedal harps kind of gave a lot of stuff to the smaller levers. And so that's why we kind of now have this full, very wide range of harps from different sizes, shapes, and all that.
And thinking of Scotland and Ireland, harps is not the first instrument that comes to my mind. It's a bagpipe.
Yeah. It's a kind of one of those instruments that goes in the same bucket where, you go to Ireland. And
No,
you're
they
gonna
don't
see-
sound anything like the same bucket.
Oh, well, that's true. But I guess from the same place. That's what I should say. But yeah, it's so cool. It's been fun to, get more of the history over the last few years. That's been the part that's really, gotten my interest peaked over the last several years as I've gotten more and more into it, is just where they came from. Because the harp is a cool instrument from the fact that it's one of the most ancient instruments, but at the same time, it's also one of the more recent instruments as far as innovations go. Because you think about it, it's one of the oldest instruments around, clear back Mesopotamia, Egypt, all of that. But then you come to today, and as far as our modern day things that we use, the levers and pedals, the pedals were developed about 150 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the very first pedal. So that's fairly recent. And the levers are actually way even more recent. And really, we only started getting like modern day lever designs about 60 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. So before that, we didn't really have a good way to handle sharps and flats. And so it's why you didn't see as much harp in like classical music during the Baroque and classical period, because we didn't have a good way to handle sharps and flats. So they wouldn't include them because we were too quiet.
Okay, and so you got a harp for Christmas. Mm-hmm. and you decided that was going to be your instrument to play. Did you end up having to take lessons, or did you self-educate for the most part?
I was able to take lessons all the way through graduation, so about until I was 18, 19, and then I took off for a couple of years, and then when I went to university in Rexburg, Idaho, at BYU, Idaho, I was a part of the harp ensemble there, and yeah, I guess, funnily enough, I wasn't planning on this.
A harp ensemble.
Yeah, it's where you have a group of harpists all play together. And
Like there's really groups of harpists.
oh yeah, it is.
This is crazy to me.
It is the coolest.
You're the only person I know
funnest
that
thing.
plays harps. I don't know that many people, but you're the only person I know that plays harps.
Well, it is a pretty fun thing. We have loved it. So I was a part of a couple ensembles, all through high school when I took from teachers, and then when I went to university, I was a part of a harp ensemble. And then when I graduated, actually, I was kind of at this point where, okay, like I'm not really doing much. I'm not doing harp at that point. I wasn't doing harp for my career, and so it's kind of okay, I'm becoming a new mom, I'm doing other work, and I didn't have a good excuse to be practicing, so it wasn't happening. And I heard about a couple of ladies in Rexburg that were wanting to get together and make an ensemble, so I was like, okay, can I be a part? And we just hit 7 years of playing together. There's 4 of us. We call ourselves Nurture Harps, and we were all kind of in that same stage of life where we were mothers and needing a reason to be practicing. And so we started hosting annual harp ensemble performances, and yeah, we've been playing together now for a little over 7 years. It's been super fun. And so back on the topic of harp ensembles, when we first started, we hosted what we called a multi-level harp ensemble, where we kind of reached out to the other harpists we knew and said, hey, come play with us. And we sent out the music ahead of time, and then they all came and played with us on stage, and it was a really fun concert, and it became an annual tradition. And so now every year, and I guess every year's gotten a little bigger, we reach out and we have all the harpists in the area, we send out music ahead of time, and then the day before we all get together, play it, and then perform the next day.
Wow.
And so I think 2 years ago we had 17 harps on the stage.
Really?
Last year we had 15. So yeah.
Wow, that's just amazing to me.
It's so fun to see that many instruments.
And now, how many students do you have that you teach in-house?
In-house, I have, I think 12 to 14 in-person students right now, and then I have a bunch of online students.
And how does that go?
It actually goes surprisingly well. There's both pros and cons to being in person and online. In person, you have the advantage of getting the 3D picture and being able to physically show them from different angles all that they're supposed to be doing. You're able to kind of if you need to, touch their hands or whatever, and you're able to be there in person, which is of course fantastic. Online, you have different pros and cons, because one of the big pros is you get to see them on their instrument in their learning space.
Right.
Because if they're coming to the shop, they're not going to haul their harp every week, so they're going to be playing on an instrument here, kind of new environment. So that can, of course, affect the way they're playing. So one of the advantages of being online is you get to see them where they're practicing and where they're playing. And, it's been interesting to work around the complexities of, okay, well, of course, through a camera, sometimes you're going to have parts where, okay, maybe it's hard to get the right angle, it's hard to get the technique just right. But yeah, I think over the last several years, I've been able to normally work through it. I would say when a harpist gets, advanced enough, they need to find an in-person lessons. But I've been able to, teach a lot of students for several years.
Wow.
Online. It's been really really cool.
And do things distort online? I mean, when they're playing and you're listening to it, does it come through clear, or can you say, yeah, your C string's not in tune, or?
I typically can.
You typically can?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from years of listening to harp music through through a computer. There's definitely, some platforms that are better than others. So like Skype was what I started with, and I moved to Zoom. Unfortunately, the noise cancellation technology has gotten so much better the last several years, and as a result, it's been really bad for online lessons because it cancels out the music. Because it figures it's not a human voice, so it shouldn't be there. So lately, the last several years, I've mostly transitioned to using Google Meet because their sound settings are the easiest to adjust so you can hear the harp.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been an interesting challenge to figure out.
Now you've got a harp over here that takes 4 hands to play because it's got 2 sets of strings, one down each side.
Yes, this is a double strung harp. And basically it has an identical set of strings on both sides. And what it does is it allows you to basically play matching strings on. So it kind of sounds like you're doing a duet with yourself.
Oh.
It's a little out of tune right now.
Can you play two different songs at the same time?
You could, if your brain lets you. If you're coordinated enough.
I mean, like row, row, row your boat, do a round?
I think so. I don't think I could do it without practicing. But yeah, they're really interesting harps because they kind of allow you to do that, the tones at the same time that are, ooh, that is out of tune, but it kind of allows you to get that double tone on a smaller instrument because you can achieve those on a pedal harp, but that's the smallest pedal harp we have, so typically pedal harps are a little bit bigger, but you can kind of achieve a similar thing with pedal harps where you can have 2 different strings have the same tone.
Go ahead and play a couple minutes of music.
Will do. So these are the magical sounds that you hear on harp, called glissandos.
Glissandos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Glissando. So the very angelic sounds that we know and love.
And that's just the equivalent of running your fingers all the way across the piano keys.
Exactly.
Because you're hitting all the strings at one time.
Mm-hmm. We're just able to manipulate it in a way. So, because what we do, we can create double tones, and so we can get rid of kind of the notes that might sound a little bit weird next to each other. And so by getting rid of those, we can create that much more magical sound that really no other instrument can do.
Wow.
To the same extent. Do you want to tell about percussion? Well, I think one of the fun things with harp as well is just the extent of what we can do. So you of course have the glissandos like that, but outside of glissandos, we do all sorts of fun things. We have a lot of cool effects. Of course we can do a lot of
drumming.
tapping. Yeah.
That sounds good too.
It does. And then we have things like whistles, where we can whistle.
And that's just by rubbing your hands across the string up and down.
Yep. We can do something called the xylophone effect.
And that's done by holding the string down at the very bottom and then plucking.
Where we're doing a little bit of a muffle when we do it. We also have things called harmonics, where it sounds like a little bit of a bell.
You're holding the string with your index finger and then plucking it with your thumb.
Yep. And what it's doing is it's kind of cutting the vibration. So typically a harp string is kind of vibrating like that. And what we're doing is we're cutting the string in half while we're plucking. And so we're creating 2 separate vibrations, and we're kind of cutting those vibrations in half. So instead of it being that, it's going to be 1 octave higher.
Wow. Okay.
So it's kind of cool from a science perspective. I find it just fascinating. like, or,
You just slap
big
it in the
percussive
strings.
things, yeah.
Well, no wonder it needs to get tuned a lot.
Yes, exactly.
So when you're doing some of these other things, do the harpist purists really look down on you when you're beating on the, doing the drum tones or doing the...
Some most find it fun. Yeah, they're kind of cool. A lot of classical harpists are trained, to do that because there's a lot of like early 1920s to 1940s in classical music, there was a lot of experimental stuff that was done in the harp world, and so a lot of harpists, consider that classical music too. So they're also trained in the cool stuff.
Well, I was just wondering if there were the purists that
I think there's
really
some
get
that don't
snobby
like
and,
it.
and look down on you, or if harpists for the most part are just kind of fun and good to hang
varies.
around.
There's lots of styles of snobbery in the harp world. There were there's people who prefer one style over another. So some people much prefer the Celtic music, and they really are passionate about Celtic music and using lever harps and more the Celtic, Irish, Scottish style harps. Then you have the people who prefer the paddle harps and feel like that is more what a harp is. You have people who might feel like the South American Paraguayan harps are what a harp is. I think it's a fun era that we live in though, because I think with the internet, with the way that technology has advanced, I think we're getting to a much better place in the harp world where we're more accepting of every harpist, and where, you can play a small harp your entire career and you're a harpist, or you can, play gigantic pedal harps and play with orchestras and have a performance career and you're a harpist. And I think that's been kind of the fun thing to see over the last couple of decades, is just seeing that transformation in the community where we're a lot more accepting and we want people to become a part of it.
Wow, that's cool.
It's really cool.
Because so many of these arts, you end up with a snobbery effect, whether it's spinning and weaving and it has to be done just this way,
Yes.
or quilting and it has to be done just this way. And if you don't do it that way, then you're kind of on the outcast side.
Yeah.
The horse world's full of it. I mean, it's just everywhere you go.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's been the cool thing to see is just, I think it's really been in the last, decade or so that we've started to see that acceptance, starting at different ages, starting on different styles of harp. And it's kind of just finding your little
niche.
Corner and niche of it. And yeah, it's been fun. I've been kind of the sort of harpist that likes to explore it all. So I will go down rabbit holes and, spend a month or two really deep diving into a style of harp music, whether it's therapy music or classical or a specific, composer. Maybe I want to look at Carlos Salcedo for a while, or, Paraguayan music or Asian. And it's been so fun to see that and kind of see what a broad instrument the harp is, because we play everything from jazz to classical.
Well, let's hear a little bit of jazz.
Let's see.
Or maybe classical if that's easier than jazz. I just want to hear the harp play for a minute or two. It has such a beautiful tone.
Agreed.
Cool. That is awesome.
Thanks. It's been so fun.
And what are these harps over here? You've got, 10 harps?
Yes.
Are these student harps?
Yep, different styles of lever harps. So we have a couple, our main, harp makers in the US that we normally run into are Salvi, Lyman Healy, Dusty Strings. And so we have a lot of those harps over here, just different models. So you'll find different harps kind of have their strengths and weaknesses. You have, the ones that are more this style that would be a little more of the Celtic variety. So you're going to be, a lot more comfortable with folky, Scottish, Irish, Celtic music, where, something like a prelude is going to give you a much more classical sound to it. The string types make a difference. So I'll give you a really tiny example. So for instance, on a harp like this, you're going to end up...
She's adjusting a whole bunch of little levers.
I think they were doing some very interesting songs earlier in the lessons. So this one is one that's primarily strung with nylon strings. So it's going to give us a really bright sound. So very bright sound. We've got something like this that has... it's mostly strung with gut strings in the midsection and the nylon in the upper. And
the gut came from the midsection?
Yeah, so they actually still use real gut for most of the gut strings. They offer synthetic gut, but they still primarily use, I believe it's sheep gut.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. For a lot of the mid-string strings, so that gives us a much more warm string. So it gives us a much more warm sound. Ooh, that one had some interesting levers going on. So it gives us a little bit of a warmth. And then you have something like this harp over here, where this one's strung in more like I think it's a synthetic, like bio-nylon gut string, where it's a much more like bright, almost brassy sound, especially in those upper strings.
Right.
So it's kind of fun when people come in to purchase a string. I like to have them literally look away and have me play a couple of the harps that they're interested in, because they have such different sounds. They all sound beautiful, but it's interesting to see like what you get drawn to, because I find every person kind of gets drawn to different harp sounds.
Wow. This is just such a cool store, such cool sounds.
Thanks. It's been such a cool experience. We're just coming up on 2 years, and it's been just the most amazing, dream come true to just be able to come play the harp all day, every day.
I would imagine that it'd be absolutely awesome to be able to do exactly what you wanted to do every day and spend all your money on harps. I mean, everybody spends all their money on something. I know your dad spends all his on hunting, so.
Yeah, so mine happens to be harps. Luckily, I have a very supportive husband who, supports my expensive hobby. But that's part of why you open a harp store, though, because then
you've got the excuse.
Exactly. Now I have a good excuse to buy lots of harps.
Right.
But yeah, I think one of the coolest things has just been to see the community come together. We, have that summer concert that we do, but we've also started doing like what we call monthly harp gatherings, where we, invite harpists to come together and we learn together and play together every month. And I think watching that side of it happen has just been, I think the best dream was just like watching the community come together. Because the Harp Shop's been fun, but it was a means to end. It was the opportunity for us to meet other harpists, bring them together, play together. Because I think we play more, we enjoy it more when we are able to, spend time together and play together and spend time with people who enjoy the same things as us. So, yeah.
I think it's really sad that you guys all get together and play harps and stuff instead of watching your phones all night long.
I know. What a bummer, huh?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it seems so cool that you guys are able to get together and that you're actually able to get the community to do a community event, because it's so hard to get people away from their TV, from the phone, from whatever program they happen to want to watch. And it sounds like you're accomplishing that as well as having a great time
It's been
and building great relationships.
It has been. I have made some of my best adult friends by playing the harp together because it's given us, an excuse to get together. We get to, stretch ourselves in a fun way. We get to do something we love, but then we also get to create something that's just really beautiful. And at the end of the day, I think that's one of the fun things with the harp is it instantly sounds perfect and beautiful. And so we're able to, we leveled music so that even brand new beginners. So we've had people come to our harp gatherings who've never touched a harp before, and they've been able to play with us and just have fun and be able to meet people who like music like them.
That is just awesome.
It's been so fun.
Do you have a website for your
We do. It's the harpshop.com.
harpshop.com?
I know, the Harp Shop.
And you can buy anything in here is listed on your gift store. Okay.
Yep.
And you have a Facebook page?
Yep, the Harp Shop.
The Harp Shop. Everything's the Harp Shop.
I know. I lucked out getting that name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool. And so you have all your events listed on your Facebook page and stuff. So if somebody's in this area or if they're
If they're traveling, they should come stop by. We love people visiting. We have open hours, but really, if they can give us a call, I live really close, so I'm always happy to pop by and help people out at the shop. We also our monthly harp gathering we offer online as well. So if someone has a harp and they want to come on once a month, we do that. Yeah, it's been fun to try to just make it more and more accessible because I think at the end of the day that kind of was our mission around doing this because I have a business partner, and when we did the harp shop together, that was kind of our ultimate goal was we wanted to make the harp more accessible because I think for a lot of people they've either never seen one in person or they've seen it once far away. They've never really had the opportunity to touch one, and I think for a lot of people it just seems like something like, oh well, I could never do that, but
heck, I was able to do it.
Exactly.
I was able to pluck 2 strings as long as you were
Exactly.
plucking the other ones to make the music.
Exactly. Well, and I think that's, it's been fun to see that happen and see more and more people getting excited about it. My business partner and I, along the same lines, we, started writing a harp curriculum together for that, similar reasons that we were both, hitting similar problems when we were teaching. And so we ended up writing a children's harp curriculum together. And then we started the Harp Shop together. And it's been so, I guess, gratifying to kind of see that goal getting accomplished, where we've been able to connect with so many more people. We've had so many people that have started harp because we had the shop, because we were teaching, because we've tried to keep the harp accessible. So yeah, it's been really cool to see that.
And it's a gorgeous store. I mean, you've got all kinds of neat things in here, and the way it's displayed is just awesome. I really appreciate your time, Jill, taking it to talk with me about harps and giving me an education, because I like being educated. But I always finish out my podcast by saying the world is full of wonder. People need to get out and explore. And this harp shop is a place that Jill would love to show you through, teach you some things. And even if you don't buy a harp from her, actually, she might force you to buy a harp. No, even though you might not buy a harp from her, she'd like for you to come try it out. You may get addicted and go home with a harp. But
that's typically the problem that people run into. I don't normally have to work too hard to sell them. They kind of
sell themselves.
They're kind of addicting.
So get out and explore, have fun, and everybody have an absolutely wonder-filled day.